My name is Carter Hayes, and today I'm going to be doing my final presentation on the Metrodome roof collapse in 2010. So, this started in about April of 2010 when the Metropolitan Sports Facilities Committee did a routine checkup on the Metrodome and found that the inner lining of the roof, which helps to stabilize the roof and give it extra strength, was weak and even slightly torn in some spots. And instead of replacing it, they decided that the money and time wasn't worth it, and so they decided to not replace it. Later that year, in December of 2010, a massive snowstorm hit the metropolitan area, leading to about 14 to 20 inches of snow being on top of the roof and leading to major concerns on whether the roof would hold. So it was decided that a team of 6 men would go on top of the roof and try and clear some snow manually to help relieve some pressure. This didn't do much, and so the men later left, and then later that night after they had left, around 5:30 a.m. in the morning, a section of the roof collapsed due to the immense stress of the snow. Some major morally significant decisions that were made in this case were ones to not put more on-site tools to help combat massive amounts of snow. Instead, the engineers decided that the 20 fans that they put on site to create air pressure and support the roof were going to be enough for any amount of snow they faced. This obviously was not the case due to the roof collapsing. Another major significant decision that was made was by the Metropolitan Sports Facilities Committee to not replace the inner lining on the roof and instead just let it be and hope that it held. Now, the values that I believe motivated the engineers in this case were ones of job security and profit, and overall just very personal gain values. Job security came in the fact that they believed that if they didn't go with what the Metropolitan Sports Facilities Committee wanted them to, which was to leave the 20 fans and not put on-site tools and not replace the inner lining, that they may risk future jobs, considering that that committee oversees a lot of the sports facilities in that area and oversees a lot of their jobs in that metropolitan area. And then the profit comes in the fact that they were able to spend less money by not putting on-site tools to help remove snow and by not replacing the inner lining, therefore putting more money into their pockets. And also by securing more jobs for the future, they end up getting paid more in the future. So I believe that there are a lot of better decisions that could have been made in this case. A major one being the engineers should have not listened to the facilities committee and actually replaced the inner lining. They should have seen that as a very weak point in their structure, and they should have replaced that in order to help combat any sort of massive snow that might occur and to help support the roof overall. Another major decision that could have been made better was the decision to only have 20 fans as your support system. They should have seen that as enough, but still have a fail-safe if they needed to, and they should have put on-site tools such as thermotechnology or even massive plows and stuff close to the facility. That way they could use those in the case like what happened in 2010 where there's a lot of snow happening. They can take these tools, get rid of snow, and hopefully save the roof from collapsing and save any sort of people nearby. Some better values that could have happened are, there are lots of them. The biggest one is the fact that they were motivated by personal gain values instead of those of the public. I believe that the major motivating value in this should have been the public's safety. The engineers saw the Metrodome as a way to make a lot of money and secure future jobs for themselves, when in reality they should have seen it as a way to make a beautiful stadium, a nice place for the people around the metropolitan area, but by still making it safe for people and making people feel safe inside of their structure. They should have been motivated by public safety and always kept the public safe over their own needs. Overall, this didn't happen, which is what led to the collapse occurring. If the engineers had, say, been motivated by keeping the public safe, they would have seen the inner lining being weak, seen that as a risk to the public's safety, and most likely replace it and therefore make the roof stronger and hopefully even strong enough to resist the massive amount of snow that happened in 2010. If they were also motivated by public safety, they would have seen that listening to the Metropolitan Sports Facilities Committee was not the best idea, and that along with the 20 fans that created the air pressure as a support system, they should have put more on-site tools, which therefore would have protected the public even more in an incident like 2010. They could have used the tools, like I said, to get rid of snow on top, help melt it away in order to reduce the strain on the actual linings of the roof. And then another major thing that they could have been motivated by was, instead of being motivated by making a bunch of profit, they should have just said to the people, hey, we need this amount of money to make this safe. And if the public had been their major concern, they wouldn't have cared about having to come to their upper people and tell them that they needed more money. They wouldn't care about the whole profit, because engineers should not be motivated by the idea that they can make money. They should be motivated by the idea that they can spend a lot of money to help make other people's things better, make other people's stadiums better, make other people like the public feel safe in their own builds and in their own construction. And then finally, the things that can be learned from this case, I think the major one is that engineers should have a backbone in their cases. They should be able to tell their bosses and tell people like the Sports Facilities Committee that they know what they're doing and that they can do what they need to do, but they need this amount of money, or they need this, and that, and not have to worry about job security, say, or profit. Another major one is that they should always be motivated by public safety, and that when given the decision of the public versus your own needs, you should always choose the public, and that the public should always become before your job security and your profit. So thank you. That was my final presentation on the Metropolitan roof collapse.